Hey, Miss Jackie Bond.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm so good. It is so nice to finally meet you. I am so excited for this meeting.
I'm excited too. I've heard a lot about y'all and I've been looking forward to this, so I'm excited to jump right in. How much time
Awesome.
do we have today?
We have, I think we have 20 minutes, right?
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's works great with my schedule.
Awesome. Hey, before we start, I have a question. Is there anyone else that would like to join us?
No, just us today, and then whenever we're done today, if you could just shoot me like a recap email or something, then I'll share it with my team.
Done. Awesome. Hey, before I jump into any questions here, I just want to bring up how great American Farm and Garden Supply is. You guys are one of the biggest retail companies selling, equipment in the business, and you guys are competing with Ace Hardware, Lowe's, and Home Depot, and I think it's just really great. And I've heard that you guys have been expanding and growing 12% over the past 2 years. And that's just amazing.
Thank
So,
you. Yes, it's really
congrats on that.
exciting.
Awesome. Hey, from the homework that I've done here, you guys really have a competitive advantage, right? You guys serve your customers really well and you guys focus on that.
Yes.
Is that right?
So our main thing that we focus on is putting the customer first. And that's what we hear most from our customers is that they value that we really care for the needs of their company, the needs of their product, or whatever service they're needing. And so that is, like you said, our big competitive advantage that we hear most is that our customers are so satisfied with what we provide.
Awesome. Yeah. Could you give me, any examples for how you serve your customers well?
Yeah. Yes. So one thing that sets us apart that's a little bit unique about American Farm and Garden Supply is that we offer free repairs and services when customers have bought anything from our stores. So if they have any problem with anything, whether it's a tractor to a shovel, whatever they bring back to us, we repair that for free for them. So that's just showing them that we really believe in the value of our products that we're providing and want them to be working well for them. And then another thing that we do is if there's someone that's new into gardening, farming, we offer free classes for them. So they can come and take one of our free classes, learn a bit more, learn how to use our products and equipment a little bit more in context of what they're actually trying to accomplish in some of their goals.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. And from the looks of it, you guys have just been killing it with the revenue. So that is just amazing. Okay, so I do have some questions before we get into how we can help you, just to clear things up a little bit. What would you say is your ultimate goal for this company?
Well, obviously, like I was saying, we put the customers first. Our ultimate goal is not only to provide valuable, reliable equipment for them, but mostly is for customers to be loyal to us and know that we are here for them and providing what they need equipment wise, but also in thought leadership and knowledge of farming practices and things like that. And so customer loyalty is huge, and kind of hand in hand with that is retention. So a big part of our just forward goals for revenues for our revenue plan is retaining customers. And so not only loyalty of new customers and buying that and winning that and earning that, but also them demonstrating that by retainers with us.
Awesome. So, what kind of system do you guys have implemented at the moment to support that?
Right now, it's just an ERP, and that's actually the reason why I wanted to meet with you guys. We heard from John Deere that you had some other solutions and newer ways to troubleshoot some of our process because our ERP can just be really extensive and a little bit infuriating to use for our team sometimes, just because it has a lot of. We've come up with some good workarounds and some employee training, and our IT team is awesome and always on the ball with everything. But it still is pretty time intensive and can be frustrating for our team to navigate.
Right, right. So with the ERP system, what is like the biggest thing that it's causing you? Is it communication problems or
Yeah, that's like a big one is communication between, especially between departments in our company. They can tend to be somewhat siloed, and it can be tedious to keep information consistent across those departments. And so that's a big one. You hit it right there first is communication within our departments. But then another one is it's honestly pretty expensive to upkeep. And so we know that's a fixed cost that's expensive for a lot of businesses, but obviously as we're looking to grow, as we're scaling, we're wanting to both increase the efficiency of our team, but also lower our costs somewhat.
right? And I'm sorry, but I'm kind of taking here, taking notes here. Is that fine?
Yes, that's great. Once you start talking more about the product as well, I'll probably be taking notes too.
Awesome, awesome. And is there any other services on top of ERP and IT that I should know about?
Um, I'd say like our teams just in general work heavily in Excel for a lot of our data, a lot of our customer information, a lot of our sales tracking generally is pretty much within Excel. And so even though that's a good basic system, it can be difficult to transfer that data. They're not very integrated very well. And so we have come up with our own system to kind of transfer that data, but it can be pretty tedious and just time intensive. And then we also have, as I mentioned earlier, our awesome IT team that supports and maintains the system. But they're constantly having to upgrade the software. They're constantly having to train new users. Anytime we have a new hire in, they have to have, that's part of the onboarding process. And so I'd say that's the other elements of that go along with our ERP system.
Right. Well, yeah, that sounds very much like a lot of work, because of how separated they are, you guys have to always update them. And especially with Excel, you're right, it is very, very good, but at the same time, it is not uniform. And you guys
Yeah.
need all the informations as fast as possible, right? Okay, let's see here. What how much do you think you guys are? If you can guess if you don't know, but how much is it um to implement all of this together that you guys have been using?
I'm trying to think back how much the software actually initially cost us. I believe it was around 100K, which is a pretty big initial investment. And then we also, we pay our IT team to upkeep it. There's a lot of just costs that kind of
Okay.
go hand in hand together. So the ERP system, IT team, and then there's several of those teams as well. So we have a lot of locations. We have about 80 locations and employees in all of them. And so that all use the same system. So it can definitely be a pretty significant cost just between um, the initial purchase and then also just upkeep.
Yeah, well, that's when you look at these things and you pay the costs up front, you're just looking at the direct costs. What do you think is happening with the indirect costs?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate that a little bit more?
Yeah, the indirect cost is basically how you would spend your money, like additional money, time, and effort because of how tedious these things are. The
Mhm.
amount of, the amount of time and effort that you can spend it on something else, maybe like you said, on communications, how you can handle customers better or even growth.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. I definitely think I don't know a number on that because we haven't done, research to calculate employee efficiency or anything like that. But it definitely, like I said earlier, that's one of the biggest concerns is how time intensive it is. And so I can see how there would be some revenue loss there for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, okay, by the looks of it, is there anything else that you want to bring up before we can show you how Salesforce works?
Let me think. there's anything we're talking about. So I think, yeah, the biggest thing too, so we've talked about kind of our current issues right now, but just, as a CEO looking forward, I'm always looking for how we are growing and scaling. And so that's my biggest, I guess, other concern is that I want us to be able to scale efficiently and do that smoothly. And so, like you mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot of growth over the last couple of years, about 12%. And so we are expanding a lot of our retail stores. And so would love a system that's transferable
Right.
across those stores.
Okay, well, Salesforce here, we are here to help you guys, and it is my personal duty to bring this service to you. So let's look at the issues here. We as a CRM system, we have a lot of things that would make your problems just seem so much easier, and we could definitely solve them for you. So the first thing I want to bring up here is called the force.com. So how force.com works is we have a lot of developers such as Microsoft, and they have been developing apps into the infrastructure, right? So
Mhm.
the cool thing is that there's going to be an app that is customizable for your company's needs. And this would definitely help with your money because it's very low cost, and you can switch it anytime you want. And of course, it doesn't take a long time to implement. And second thing here I want to bring up is called Chatter. Chatter is great because it allows your employees to communicate well. You see, with three things, with the I draw a T chart here with the things that you said right here. Your employees are not communicating well because frankly, the IT system has to update your sales team or the other employees, and that's gonna take a long time. And with Chatter, you can just type it in, whatever it is. You can work on a project together, and it's just like that. It's just like sending a message. And yeah, we also have this thing called stock opportunities. And again, I can see the value of you guys value customers so much that stock opportunities is going to help you guys a lot, because if one thing your employees can't really close the deals, it's going to lose customers. You guys want to retain as much as possible, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with that, you will employees such as the sales team can definitely hit up the manager, shoot them a text. Hey, I'm dealing with this guy and I can't close him in my pipeline. And can you help me out with this? And the manager can shoot him up. Yeah, man, definitely. I'll be there right that second. And the best thing about Salesforce, the one that is just completely above and beyond, is that we're a cloud-based system. It is so easy to implement, and it might look like a lot, but when you guys spend some time on it, I can guarantee you that it'll be much easier.
Very cool. Yeah. When you initially, like, that sounds fantastic, Fendy. And when you initially started talking, I definitely like force.com, Chatter. Those are definitely some needs that we have that we talked about earlier of just better communication. But I think the one that stands out most is, like you said, it would be in a cloud-based system. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, of like how that would that primarily just have everything in one place? I guess that would help us with our Excel documents. So instead of things being stored externally, would it all happen internally within Salesforce?
Yeah, definitely. So Salesforce, we use a website, right? And then when you users type it in the info, they can log in, and then they're gonna look at the dashboard and the projects and how they can manage their customers, and
Mhm.
even the apps that I talked about. And you can always add more applications. You can always add or delete the applications. So it is very customizable, and you
Okay.
guys, it will literally take hours to implement. And all these ERP systems, it takes you days, because you need guys to just come in and do all their things. And with Salesforce, we are in basically the future, right? This is literally what
That's where we're looking. So that's great.
yeah.
Very cool. So a lot of that looks awesome. It's very impressive, honestly. And especially just like I said, as we're looking to scale, we need something like this that's backing our teams. So what is the price we're looking at for Salesforce? How does that compare with, I know that switching over to a new system like that, there can be some pretty high initial costs. And so just want to kind of get a good ballpark for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is really not a cost to set it up, but there's a monthly cost for users to use, and that's going to be $125 for the enterprise edition, which you guys can have. But in my opinion, you guys are trying to compete to be the best, and you guys want to dominate in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are looking to grow even much more with the homework that I've done. I think you guys want to grow five more locations, and that is something that you want to do fast. So I would personally recommend having the $195. It's the unlimited edition, and yeah, it only comes. I mean, $195 is not the cheapest.
That's per month. Is that per month?
It is. It is usually per month. So it is. It's not the cheapest.
How many users do you usually have on each account?
On each account? I mean, it is up to you guys.
Okay.
For every employee that you want to implement it to, they can always use it, and it is $195 a month, which only comes down to about $6.50 a day.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I guess my other big question with this is, how does like onboarding and stuff work with y'all for us to get this new system, for us to learn it, train our teams? Would that be something that we do, or do y'all help us a little bit with the onboarding?
Oh yeah, sure. It is. We have this thing called Trailhead. It is like a practice thing that you can guys go through. But if you guys personally have any questions, I'm here to help you out. I am pretty good at it, and we have a team for that too.
Salesforce Ninja.
Yeah.
Great.
For a long time. But yeah, what would you say? Do we have a deal right now, or do you need a team to talk with about?
I definitely need to talk with my team and just kind of do a little bit more research, kind of look into where we're headed, but definitely interested. I mean, I was already interested a little bit when my friends at John Deere told me about it, but you've definitely sold me much more on it today. Let's schedule a follow-up or something in a couple weeks, and well, preferably sooner than later, because this is an urgent need for us. So
awesome. I'm totally on board. How about next Wednesday lunchtime around 2:00? Is that okay with y'all?
Let me check my schedule. Yes, that should be good.
Awesome. That'll do it.
Next Wednesday. And I'm going to loop in a couple more people from my team in that next meeting.
No problem. Get everyone that you need.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you next Wednesday.
Okay, see you then.